to come to my house on more of a regular basis and help my wife. At least somebody that was like a coach too, like somebody that could like take somebody that was like not very motivated and kind of lazy and talk them into like sitting up and doing exercises and showing them how to exercise and helping them exercise and saying, come on, you could do it, encouraging them. Here's the rubber band, stretch it, stretch it, stretch it, make your arms stronger. um, Help you sit up. Here, sit up more, sit up more. Let's try to stand. And here's the thing, exercise with the pedals. I could have been more of a coach, but I was working all the time. I'm trying to work all the time, though I'm at home and I have my computer here in this room here. I'm doing all the I'm using the CAD software and the graphics software and the data entry software and electronic catalog software, blah blah blah, and all that, and the MRP, doing Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations and all that, and typing and all day long, moving the mouse and opening up this software, doing this, closing that, opening up this software, doing this, closing that, opening up this software, manipulating, typing in, and then moving things around with my mouse and staring at the screen and doing that all day long, every single day, 5 days a week, 8 to 4:30. Even though I'm at home, I'm having it's still, if someone's in bed and they can't get out of bed, I'm having to cook. I'm having to help them bathe. I'm having to make sure they're taking their medication, checking their blood pressure, and checking their blood sugar level, SpO2 meter, and just taking care of and making sure they're comfortable and happy and trying to meet their needs. And then I go back and sit at my desk and do like, open this program, go through these menus, go to this menu, type this in, move the mouse here, paste it, copy, paste, copy, drag and drop, copy, paste, type in this figure, move the menu up and down here, close that program, open this program, do an Excel spreadsheet, export it out, text file, open this program, import it in, blah 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 blah, all day long, and then try to help my wife while I'm doing this different software, blah blah blah, all day long. I'm tired. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to believe that I'm going to get this big pile of money when I have to when they shut the doors? Or am I like going to say I gotta put my priorities right now? My priorities are keeping my wife happy and healthy, and making sure she's comfortable and safe, and that she's got things to do to keep her mind occupied and be there with her and keep her company, as well as prepare all her meals and do her laundry and make sure she has all her soaps that she needs to clean herself, and dry washcloths and basins of hot water and soap, and all of the different soaps and that and creams and stuff to keep, for her skin, and making sure she had her to keep herself clean and all that, all day long. I'm doing this, and then I'm working too. So I went in there in human resources. I said, no, it's not going to work for me. I'm sorry. This is my last day. Nice knowing you. Send me my week's pay and my vacation time. Sayonara. And then I went home and I took care of my wife until she passed away. I was glad. I'm glad I quit, because it gave me that extra time I could spend with my wife. So I'm really, really glad now that I quit. I made the right decision. Just going up there and quitting, walking in there on Groundhog Day, I quit. It felt good. It felt like I was really full, like I just ate a really big meal at a wedding or a big banquet or a party, and I was all stuffed, full. And I felt, when I was in payroll, I felt like I was like really full, and I just wanted to leave. I had enough of it. I had it up to here with that place, with my job, with my task, which which was so meticulously, monotonously routine, day after day after day after day. That was burning out, and then I had my wife to take care of. So I'm glad I quit early. Made me feel good, even though I'm a total like skin flint, penny pinching miser. I live like a monk. Eat rice and beans and potatoes and oatmeal and drink applesauce or apple juice and eat bananas and live like what a big deal for me is. A big deal for me is I get a Beyond sausage links, or I get Beyond meat burgers and cook them up. The very butchers though, you got to order all that at once. It'd be nice if they had very good butchers products on the store shelves. Then I wouldn't have to buy it all. I wouldn't have to buy this big order, because the way it is on mail order, you got to buy it. It's like $75, and you get the box of the different meat samples in it, which is pretty good. But it's like that's too. It seems like that's too much money to spend all at once. I'd rather go to the market. If I see it in the freezer section or in the refrigeration area, I go and I pull some out, put it in my shopping basket. And it's pretty good. I mean, it's good if you like that kind of thing. So, but me, I'm vegan for the animals. But vegan, I guess you could say, well, if you're vegan for animals, vegan for the environment, vegan for your health, vegan for your soul. So for me, it's so vegan for the animals. So I guess maybe I am only doing it because it makes me feel good. I mean, my conscience feels good knowing that, okay, I had a nice meal, I enjoyed myself, but I didn't have to make someone else suffer for me to have a meal and experience eating something. So it was just a plant. So there was plants involved. So unless you have the strange notion in your mind that there is a nervous system inside of, like, maybe a broccoli plant or a corn or a potato or like a carrot or something has a nervous system in it, you might think that if you cut that into that carrot, that carrot's going to feel. The plant has a feeling, a being in it that feels, or the broccoli hurts when it's cut off the stalk by the farmer, or you think that a piece of carrot has feelings, and it knows that it's being chewed on, or it knows feels itself being broken apart. Or an apple, you think an apple tree is like on the Wizard of Oz, when they pick apples and the apple tree goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" That's. But there are odd individual people that really believe that there is a kind of a consciousness, or a similar kind of consciousness to their own consciousness, that inhabits that other creature. So they think that they see a raccoon, and they watch the little raccoon with its little paws, and they see it go in the water and wash its hands off. They see it running around, scampering around. Then it goes, and the little raccoon climbs up a tree. And that person, while they're watching the raccoon and looking at the raccoon and observing what the raccoon is doing, that person they're imagining in their mind, they're envisioning in their mind that there's someone there, that's just not a Disneyland animatronic thing that's without sensing or feeling. So they could think it's an animatronic puppet. Somebody could, like, go to the zoo, and they could see all the zoo animals as each animal as being some kind of like mechanical machine that could in a sense just be tortured, and it wouldn't matter to it. There'd be no one there that would feel anything. The person would hear the animal scream in agony and suffer and squirm, but but some people would look at that person that's getting all emotional and they think, don't they realize that animal is just like a machine? It's just like your automobile or a typewriter or like a VHS cassette player. It's just like if a VHS cassette player got a tape stuck in it, it was going. Ee! Those people think that animal that's in agonizing pain is just doing the same thing that a machine would do that would be stuck. So if you went up to a vending machine, you wanted to pick this can of soda or something, and then the soda got stuck in the little machine the gears were grinding. Well, they think animals when they're writhing in pain are just like that soda dispensing machine that got stuck and it was making some strange noises. But there's people that are like me that get really emotional. They're very sensitive, and they're like they go onto Facebook and they see pictures of animals being tortured. They see corpses of animals being thrown and tossed around. They see an animal that's writhing in pain, or that's in a state where it's almost dead, that's so dehydrated or so full of, or abused animal. They see people abusing animals and it gets them really upset. And they know, well, this is just happening all over the world all the time. It's been happening since the dawn of time, since the first animal said, ouch. I think it was Mendham that said something to that effect. And yeah, that makes sense. And it wasn't that a person once said they think, therefore they are. Like they could not, they were so skeptical that the only thing that they knew that was real was that they knew that they existed. So they thought. So if they thought and they were thinking and they knew they existed, that was all that they could only get to that point and not doubt that any further than that. But everything else they could be skeptical about. They could just doubt everything else except they knew they existed. Now it would follow that if that being were a feeling being, if it couldn't think, if it couldn't do math, if it couldn't solve complex problems with its intellect, if it couldn't manipulate symbols around, if it couldn't articulate through vocal patterns, it couldn't communicate at a high sophisticated level, then all it would have within itself is a capacity to feel. Let's say it had real sensitive feelers that could navigate its environment. So it was a highly sensitive being that existed. It was a conscious being, but it was only conscious as a feeling being. It wasn't cogitating mathematical equations. It wasn't like composing sonnets or writing long epics and poems. It wasn't doing building an elaborate structure, an architectural structure. It wasn't manipulating metals, or it was very evolved in its environment. It evolved and had a capacity to feel, but it was still it shouldn't have never been discounted that there was no one there, that it wasn't a first person experience behind that. So that the essence of why be kind to an animal? Why be nice to an animal? Are you being kind or nice to an animal because you're just imagining that animal's experiencing you trying to give it attention or affection of any kind, or recognize them or give them any kind of attention? Or you're just making it up in your head. You're watching your cat. You call your cat. You pet your cat. Give the cat a little bit of. You can play with the cat with a feather toy and all that. And are you only just? Okay, I'm asking you this. Am I just imagining that there's someone under the cat fur? That there's a brain? That in that cat brain there is like a separate individual self aware of itself, just as much as I'm aware of myself. But I'm just I have more bells and whistles. You get the drift of that? Whereas even an animal you would think would be non you would hold it in low value. You would that animal would hardly have any value at all to you at all. Like it could be like a pigeon or a chicken or like a crow or some really common animal that you see all the time in your environment that you just, oh, they're just that